The Olympus 75mm f1.8 is my absolute favorite lens for Micro Four Thirds.
I'll start with its downsides because that list is quite short. It's not weather sealed, unlike Olympus's Pro lenses, and the minimum focusing distance is not very close, so it can't stand in for macro work, unfortunately. The rest is spectacular. You buy this lens so that you can focus in on one specific thing and completely obliterate everything else into a world of blur. And it does an excellent job, what with such a wide aperture, on what's essentially a short telephoto. It's extremely sharp wide open, so there's no need to stop down to smaller apertures other than for creative reasons. For many people, the 150mm equivalent focal length is probably quite unfamiliar on a prime. You have to stand quite far back from your subject if you want to get a lot in. Versatile, it is not. But with this lens, I kinda prefer it to let it compose shots for me, and honestly, it really does feel like this lens can compose shots for me. I see something I like, nail the focus, and usually out comes a really nice picture. And that's pretty easy to do because it focuses very quickly, very accurately, and to top it off, very quietly too. It's solidly built. There's a lot of metal and glass here in quite a small space. It's probably the densest lens I own. Despite the heft, it's really quite small for what it does. Slap it on an EM5 or EM10, and it'll be right at home, very well balanced. The only other thing to note about it physically is the focus ring, which is large, super smooth, and very nicely dampened.
As far as alternatives go, there are two obvious Olympus lenses to compare it with: the 45mm f1.8 and the 60mm f2.8 macro.
The 45mm is significantly smaller, lighter, and cheaper, especially at used prices, and it's a fantastic lens in its own right. Honestly, if you're looking to dip your toes into primes and you're down with portraits, the 45mm would be my first recommendation. It's an incredibly competent portrait lens. It just can't compete with the compression and blurred background of the 75mm. The 60mm macro gets a similar perspective to the 75, but with an aperture that's well over a stop slower. The build is more plasticky, and subjectively I think it's quite ugly, but its macro capabilities are excellent. It's a macro lens first, but works as a decent portrait lens if need be.
In summary, the Olympus 75mm f1.8 is sharp, fast, compact, and well built. The perspective is very tight, and if that's your thing, you will love it.
Thanks for watching.